Sounds good. I'm Dan Babick and I'm with FabTV. I'm just going to change my settings. 1 second. Oh, perfect. Well, thank you so much for writing such a killer film. I have been like on the edge of my feet or toes, however the saying goes, all morning after watching it.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
And I wanted to know, where did the idea come from? Because it's such a unique storyline. I think one that really hasn't been revisited in the way that you have written it. So where did that come from?
So the original idea was I wanted to have a story about mental illness with a protagonist who is experiencing mental illness. And the aim being to kind of destigmatize or challenge the stereotypes associated, which is where schizophrenia came into play, because I think there are quite a few movies about other mental illnesses, but schizophrenia is probably the most stigmatized of the mental illnesses, and I think it's oftentimes portrayed in a negative light. And I wanted to do something different with it.
Well, thank you. So, those of you that haven't watched the film, it follows, a girl becoming a woman, and she's about 16, who, battles schizophrenia. And I think one of the most poignant parts of the film, for me anyway, was when Caleb said to her, you wouldn't apologize for having diabetes. So why are you apologizing for having schizophrenia?
Yeah. It was really important to work in little sayings where people could really latch on to onto those moments, because I think it makes you suddenly realize, like, oh, yeah, that is the case. So it's very much like I wanted it to be very entertaining, but also with those little moments provoke people, right, to search deeper and really think about them.
And I think that's why it is so compelling, and why it's going to do so well, because it has that thriller aspect. So you are scared, but then it also has huge heart, and you're also learning. It really is so unique.
Thanks. Yeah, I think so too.
And I think a lot of people, I certainly didn't, I've had preconceived notions of what schizophrenia is, but it actually explains it properly in the film through watching her journey. And I love that it gives people hope, because, I don't want to give away the storyline, but she does get to a place eventually where she can live somewhat of a normal life.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, I think in development, there were a lot of people that gave notes like, oh, we want it to end with her being cured. And that to me was not even negotiable, because the reality is it's something she will live with for the rest of her life. It's a matter of managing it, right? This isn't a, fairy tale where we can just wish it away. It's a real thing that people have to deal with every single day. But that doesn't mean that it has to be some bleak existence either.
And how did you go about getting it? So, because I just assumed, I was like, oh, the writer for sure must be, must have schizophrenia or be closely related to it. But it doesn't seem like you are. So how did you get, such a knowledge and to become an expert and to portray it in such an authentic way? How did you get to that?
I wouldn't say that I'm an expert by any means, but I did have a lot of really great resources that I went to be able to kind of fill out the character, which was tons of research, right? Biographies / memoirs, case studies, YouTube videos. There's a lot of YouTube stuff that's really cool that I hope people are compelled to go watch, that people have done, where they're like videoing their hallucinations, because they want people to see what it is like. They want to give an accurate portrayal. And I also talked to a lot of these people that I either saw on YouTube or met on Reddit / schizophrenia, to be able to kind of get the language down, and also the experience down.
Well, thank you. And just before we go, I want to know, what is your hope for this film? What do you hope that people get out of it when they come to watch it in the cinema?
Well, I hope that they're really entertained while they're watching it, but then I hope that they can leave the theater or turn off the movie, whatever it is, if they're in their homes, and have a larger conversation about mental illness and what they thought schizophrenia was versus what they experienced. And then hopefully it leads them to have greater compassion for people.
Well, thank you. I think you're really changing the landscape of film. That not only can you create such a thrilling, exciting, entertaining film, but it can also have a message and teach people in a bigger way. So thank you for giving that service to the world.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, it was excellent. So good luck with your interviews today, and I know it's going to do really well because it is a fantastic film.
Thank you. It's really nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you as well.